And welcome back, folks, to more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. Last time we played, well, we're probably near the final stretch of the last case, and we're going through Emma's confession or testimony. Let's see what's up. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark? Yes, at least I think it was him. You think? All I could really see were shadows. The power outage that immediately preceded the incident is also documented in the prosecutor's office reports. So then you... I panicked and rushed towards both of them. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Mr. Marshall. He seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. But as we've just theorized, Mr. Marshall was the one holding the knife. Well, I didn't know that at the time. How was the soup? I had a mushroom soup, cream of mushroom. Cream was pretty good. When the Dark guy knocked me down, all I could think of was I gotta help that other person. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. What do you mean, you think? Describe to me thinking. You think, therefore you are? It all happened so fast, and I was in a shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it's all kind of a blur. This guy was almost killed before she was witness to a murder about to take place. With so much happening in a matter of seconds, a little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. What you did was very brave, young girl. So then, what happened next? Just then, there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the Blue Badger. Are you sure about this? Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him here. But... it was the chief of detectives who thought up this hideous beast. And that was just this year. The Blue Badger didn't exist 2 years ago. This is all quite verifiable. I know it sounds strange, and I was surprised too when I saw him at the police department. I had this nagging feeling that I had seen him before somewhere. Now I finally remember! Oh, brother. Just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion. Tell us, where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't in the room, but I'm pretty sure I saw his shadow. His shadow? You mean you didn't actually see his face with the winning smile and all? That's right, but I still remember it. He had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. That may well be. But what's important is what caused her to think that she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation? So, by all means, please tell us what the shadow really was. What did she see? Do we know? The Blue Badger hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture, yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. It is the defense's belief that on the fateful day 2 years ago, there is indeed something that looked similar to the Blue Badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. Mr. Wright. It's me. I was there. I was the killer. What would be the Blue Badger look-alike? Oh, I know what it is. It's this. Kinda.
Take that!
The mysterious Blue Badger was in fact this. But that's... what exactly is that? I believe it's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, that doesn't look anything like the Blue Badger. Indeed, it doesn't. As it stands now, it's just a plain jar. However, what if we were to change our viewpoint? Our viewpoint? How are we gonna do this? Probably something like this, right? Right?
Take that!
This isn't right. I gotta make it look more like the Badger. Oh, shoot. Gotta find the right angle. I mean, it kind of looked like it, though. Because logically, like... I don't know. This kind of looks like it. Like that? Like that? I'm thinking like this.
Take that!
No? Yeah, I'll just put it like...
Take that! Objection!
Was it like this? Was it like that? Well, I sure don't know. This has to be rage bait. Because I thought it was like this. Like, that kind of looks like it, right?
Take that! Objection!
Stand it up more? Like this?
Take that! Objection!
I gotta sandbag this for at least 2 hours.
Take that! Objection!
Do I have brain problems?
Take that! Objection!
I'm gonna need some help here. I'm surprised it's not this. Like, genuinely. Make it flatter. Like this? Yeah, it doesn't look like it. A bit more? I'm gonna try this.
Take that!
I got it. This is a miracle or what? It is a miracle. No one can possibly deny the jar's resemblance to the blue badger. No. It can't be. Order, order! The defense has proven its claim. The mysterious blue badger witnessed on the day of the crime was actually this. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? Well, that badger thing was actually just a jar. That doesn't change anything! Oh, it changes everything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see? This changes everything! That's what I just said. I literally just said that. Indeed. Very well then. Please tell us. What's different now that we saw the witness... What's different now that we know the witness saw this jar? The murder weapon. Allow me to take these in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar, at the very specific angle, I might add, Mr. Wright. Yes, well, knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of this jar was shown in the picture on the day of the crime. On the shelf in the office of Damon Gant. The body was found lying near Lana Sky's desk. The witness testified so herself. Yes, and it is those two facts that revealed what actually transpired, you see. The struggle between Dark and Marshall did not take place in Lana Sky's office. It did not. It happened on the other side of the room in Chief Gant's office. Are you implying the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to Lana Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Yep. All right, case closed. Thanks for watching, everyone. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through the trouble. The only logical conclusion is that there was a reason. Do you know what the reason was, Mr. Wright? I finally figured it out, so this is why Lana tried to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony. She said she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, what could have sent the jar flying? That would have been the impact the man made when he was knocked into the wall? Ladies and gentlemen, may I draw your attention to this picture once more? If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? The suit of armor, holding a very dangerous looking sword. Yes. And since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, it would have been Neil Marshall wielding the King of Prosecutors trophy. Oh. Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. That's right, we're not thinking. Yes. There's another possibility of what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have had no idea, but nevertheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright? What's the matter? If events took place as the defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Prosecutor Neil Marshall, you mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? Murderer. No! I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life. And then proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. What? What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Sky, but given the circumstances... Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think it was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're gonna have proof. Tell me. Do you have any conclusive evidence that proves my sister killed Mr. Neil Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would have been difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. We can't get dead people to testify yet. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Huh. Touché, Miss Sky. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean, the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life in one manner or another. That's impossible. Why are we doing this? We're trying to get a young girl to admit her guilt. A message from the deceased. I gotta think back to the court records. The real murderer's name and the victim may have left behind is in the evidence. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There is only one thing we seek, the truth. I like how both of them are working together now. No matter how painful it may be. Please show us the piece of evidence that conveys the message from the deceased. It's probably on the vase. This. This is a message left by the deceased. Is that the blue badger from before? Oh, is he just gonna speak the... Oh, is he gonna speak the killer's name? That thing could, I'm sure it would. Looks like everyone's forgotten the jar. The message was left here on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. Looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, the blood on some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there's a line here drawn in blood. So what you're saying is these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used his few precious moments left to him to leave a message. One that someone apparently wiped away. But the blood must have seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need is to connect these points, and the victim's message will become apparent. No. Mr. Wright, what kind of message did the victim leave for us, Your Honor? I believe these bloodstains will reveal us the answer. Only one thing the victim would have written. His murderer's name. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Take that!
It's VW3. No. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. She was trying to protect her little sister. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. His final message. Of all people. She may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Skye. See, Worthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. What are you doing here? Chief Gant, do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you were the prosecutor in the case, were you not? A 20 stream streak? Look at this guy. Flexing. Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. That's undeniable. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We aren't defenders of justice. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or evidence forgery, ultimately the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. He forged evidence and got a man sentenced to death. Isn't that also murder? That's true. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his death. How can he just stand there like it wasn't his fault? Order, order, order! The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. Oh my God, this case doesn't end! February 25th, 12:06. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Okay, I saw a video on YouTube about Quebec declaring independence. Care to comment? What? Yeah, maybe in the 1990s. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you involved. get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run her all around while on duty. To top it all off, you call me here? I've seen happier people at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here. Evidence law. He asked me to give you this if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Two rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, you don't talk about evidence law. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right? Seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. Message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. The 2 rules of evidence law. Doesn't look like the book will do you any good now. All that's left is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective! Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat? Despite this stupid face. Despite all the allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth. The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there to do? Your credibility is all but ruined with this forged evidence you've been unaware of. Emma Skye found out she's unwittingly caused the man's death, and now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into the dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're gonna expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. District Court, courtroom number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Ms. Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor. The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have struck a bargain. Do you think I may have manipulated the witness? I didn't say that. Just, you see, everyone's been talking, and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing? Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what would you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. And it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. Defense calls? Time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Well, let's call Mr. Gant then.
Take that!
Damon Gant, The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courtroom. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right, bailiffs, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What's this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant, and I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant. The court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's made pretty clear already. There's still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? That true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Oh, don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of my time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see, everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first, so Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when the knife went into his heart, though. Okay, that's a weird-ass comment to say. That's not funny. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and the serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway, I had nothing to do with the forgery. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding the evidence are inexcusable, no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're gonna stare at anything, you're better off staring at the court records. Worthy, always the smooth talker. Which piece of evidence ties Gaunt to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence. That can't be the whole truth. Somehow I gotta link Gaunt to the incident. Ah. So what evidence do we have? Okay. Hold up. What could it be? I'm trying to think what could tie... Oh, what could tie him to the case? I'm drawing a blank here. Time for brute forcing? I don't know. The glove looks like for a big hand, but the thing is, like, you can't really use a glove as evidence, as we've seen. What's your idea there, Shadow? Handprint, okay. Yeah, but what does that do? Like, we can present that he had the piece of cloth, but
Hold it!
okay, we'll try the piece of cloth, but
Objection!
if you really had nothing to do with the forgery, then how do you explain this? With that? And what's that on it, a handprint? Chief Gat, your explanation, please. I don't know, you tell me, son. Huh? My dear Righto, don't you know? The second rule of evidence law? Uh-oh, not this again. Evidence law. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Tell me, how is this rag relevant to this trial? It appears the defense was not prepared. It's too early to use this piece of evidence. Okay, I'll do this just once, but only because you asked, Udgy. I assure you, the defense is terribly sorry. Ha ha ha. I didn't nail you. So, it wasn't that. I don't know. Maybe the glove?
Objection!
It's not the glove.
Hold it!
The vase again? Maybe. The vase was in his safe.
Objection!
You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. It's the blue badger you showed us earlier. This piece of jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you played a part in the legal investigation. Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admitted you were involved in the forgery. Who, me? Or do you mean you? Hey, why would I have to do anything with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. Don't punish Dick. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying for work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and the relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My, kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any other way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Right, Udgy. In return, though, I know. That place, right? Are these guys telepathic? I'd appreciate it if you stopped making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're gonna need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about how when Righto's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, They would prove his investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Hey there, Rusty.
Hold it!
What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course, but suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, righto. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered.
Hold it!
Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed on the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient, right? The chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come on now, righto, think about it. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here, but in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see?
Hold it!
Really, Chief Gaunt. At the very least, there is one very large benefit you could have reaped from this. Oh, I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, that's a good one. Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyways. Ugh. Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There's only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Pudgy, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? Please. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Lucky, who would you do it for? Chat, of course. Sorry, but the only person I really care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right, you don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people, that's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Oh, ho, ho, ho. That's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Well, probably Lana. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I meant. Very well, then. Who's this person? Who's this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence?
Take that!
Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky, the defendant. I believe it's quite obvious in the light of the circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? As for the Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh, wait. You mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding? Admit it, Chief! You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you can control her. I know, my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. Do you have any proof of this, that I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana is keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? What would that be? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor had been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone had been controlling her. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. What do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order! I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the Chief of Police of blackmail and murder, that is impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in an easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright, that the Chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. All right, then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Show us the evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. That would be the ID record. Not the badge! It's the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list that we couldn't determine the odor yesterday. 7 7s. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It is your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gat's office requires a code to open. To open a 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 777s, the same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gat, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order, order! Chief Gat, what do you have to say? The defense search of my office was in violation of the regulations. I will demand Mr. Wright to be punished to the maximum extent of the law. Right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gat, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me. When you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gat? I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gat met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gat on the day of the crime. That's probably the last item report. Detective Goodman had lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman found out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you're in possession of that report, which means you can't be sure he filed it. You filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to, yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gat, and then you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him. There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. Hey there, Brelix. Oh, wait. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him in the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. No! God, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in the right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright. The victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, take this dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gaunt, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time, I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. Well, we all know what it is, of course. It's not the badge. It's the screwdriver.
Take that!
This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. What's that? The screwdriver? What does that have to do with the case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here? It's here because... Oh! I was asked to go, by Chief Gaunt, no less. He told me he wanted to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. After the ceremony ended that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office, but you did, because Chief Gaunt asked you to. You mean I... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved to that car. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. You transport the body to your accomplice. Just Lana Skye. Order, order, order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It was a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gaunt, please say something. I believe. Your time's up. My time's up. Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're going to make it in time for the early bird special. What? Cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? The police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're just gonna run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman, that's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, Do you think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusation against him without concrete proof. Can you stop talking for a minute? Okay, sure. All right, that was 15 seconds. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, you have any concrete proof then Detective Gaunt murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Sky dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? Do we have proof? What happened to the other 45 seconds? Time compression. I can't let him squirm out of... I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. I do have such evidence. It's either the knife or the autopsy report. What is this evidence? It's proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge, but I am the judge. All right. Well, what do you think, Your Honor? I'm gonna be late for lunch. Is it the memo? No, it's not the knife. That was Lana Sky who used it. Is it the ID? No. The bloody fingerprint. That was Marshall's fingerprint. I'm gonna try the memo. No, it's not that. It's not Marshall's fingerprint? Sure. Pretty sure it was Marshall's fingerprint. Oh, this, yeah. I knew it was in the fingerprint. This is the autopsy report. Oh. This is the phone? No, we don't have the messages. Not the autopsy report. It's not the Goodman's note. Not the shoe. Not the knife. Not the evidence locker. Probably that one. Why? Why would it be that one? Could be the knife. It must be the bad. It's never the badge, though. What do we try? I mean, we could do every single one. We got the reload. Do you have any evidence? I don't think we do.
Take that!
Trilogy. In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for the allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble on what you can't afford to lose, righto? It seems that Lady Luck was on my side yet again. Leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to the senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. What? Lady Luck, huh? Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't had yet the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth, another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief God has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one who's calling witnesses today. Does such a witness exist? You may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth...
Take that!
Defendant. Solana Sky? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task to dispose of the victim's body in accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth, the prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. The court will now take its final recess for the day. 15 minutes. We'll reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. The court is now in Hold on. Huh? You've got? I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. I mean, like right there, you should be like, what do you mean by that? That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyways, right? Just something to think about. All right, then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Yeah, that's witness tampering. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court will now go in recess. This state old bag. I sure hope so. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. I like how they're working together. That chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe? I'm not detective anymore. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Hey, don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Did he mean Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gaunt's done it again. How is it? He always gets the upper hand. It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. That's not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What do you mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery, so she heard everything that's going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. Oh, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. To think all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders, she must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That's why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. Now that's an end screen right there. If you want to blame anyone, blame society. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. Let's see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here? No, I'm going with you. I want to be there. When Lana tells the truth. Let's go, right? It's time to end this. Honestly, I thought we had like 30 minutes left of the game. Will the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, please take the stand? Miss Lana Sky, you are the chief prosecutor. I am sure you are aware of what is required of you. Mr. Edgeworth, you already know everything. Do you know all that I've done these past 2 years? Please provide the court with your testimony, Miss Sky. And remember, you're under oath. We want to hear the truth. Of course, the truth. Lana, no matter what happens, I'll always be your sister. Now then, your testimony, if you will. First, tell us about your relationship with Chief Gant. Everything hinges on your testimony. You're the only chance we have to get to Gant. I worked alongside Gant for years. There's no truth to this blackmail theory. I fabricated the evidence 2 years ago all by myself. When I found Prosecutor Marshall's body, I rearranged the crime scene. My only motivation was to get Dark convicted. It had nothing to do with Emma. You sure about this testimony, Your Honor? I'm confessing to a capital offense. Of course I'm sure. But Lana... If this is true, then that means Chief Gant has nothing to do with this. That's what I've been telling you from the beginning. Please, Mr. Wright, you gotta help her. She's sacrificing herself because of me. What if she's telling the truth? She's not. I know my own sister. When she speaks stiffly like that, she's hiding something inside. Deep down, she's really screaming in agony. Are you also deep down screaming in agony, chat? Yeah, this is no time to start second-guessing myself. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. I worked alongside Gant for years. How many years exactly? Ever since I made senior detective. Let's see, I was 24 then, that would be 5 years. Detective Gant and Detective Sky were legendary partners. I personally saw them testify in numerous cases. It's been good, seeing that she came from the same school as Mia. David Gant was a respectable detective, that's why. No truth to this blackmail theory. Think about it, Miss Sky. You didn't murder Detective Goodman. You told me as much yesterday in jail. You still don't get it, do you, Mr. Wright? Any testimony you can't present in court is as useless as idle gossip. I stabbed Detective Goodman with a knife. Why are you not looking at the judge there, Lana? And I fabricated the evidence 2 years all by myself. Did you do so to help your sister? Joe Dark was a serial killer. My sister almost became his last victim that day. I didn't want that incident to ruin her life. But what she did was justifiable self-defense. She wouldn't have been charged with anything. That's not the point. She was traumatized that day, all because of that creep. That's why I couldn't forgive him. So that's why you fabricated the evidence 2 years ago. She's looking at the judge. No. If you look at, like, when we start the scene, the defendant is towards us and the judge is towards the back. Said you did this all by yourself. Yep. Would you mind telling us what you found when you arrived at the crime scene? I was the first person. It seems I was the first person to discover the scene. The broken prosecutor award knife was stuck inside the victim's body. What? Prosecutor Marshall died from an unfortunate accident. That's only a situation you dreamed was possible. Reality is, it wasn't my sister who took the prosecutor's life. Fantasize all you want, Mr. Wright, but I'll never change this statement. You mean... Prosecutor Marshall wound up being killed by Dark. Something like that. If that's so, what happened in the other... what happened to the other murder weapon? Dark was carrying a switchblade knife. Oh. That was lying on the floor a little distance away. It was probably knocked away in the struggle. That's not how it went down. She's trying to cover up her lies with more lies. All to protect me. So when you found the scene like this, what did you do? After all, this is what it boils down to. You planted the tip of Dark's knife inside the victim's body and then you moved the body? But why? Why would you do that? You of all people should know, Edgeworth. You always had a good head on your shoulders. I know it's not that bad, but maybe I ought to ask for the sake of the others. Why did you move the body? When you showed up to the scene, where exactly was the victim's body? It was where you deduced it. By Chief Gant's desk. But the body was found by your desk. Why'd you move it there? The reason for that is simple. Let's have the witness explain in more detail. The reason why she moved the body. The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Pieces of the jar, you mean? Yes, that wretched jar you showed us earlier. In order to show that Dark committed the crime, I felt it would be more expedient to move the body. So when you first found the body, the jar was already... Of course, it had been shattered to pieces. If you look at the crime scene, it would be clear right away what happened. Oh, she just explained how it happened! Neil Marshall was dead and Dark was lying unconscious. In other words, the jar must have been broken during the struggle. Let's see. What's the matter, Emma? Apparently the jar was shattered at the time the crime was committed, but I have a feeling there's more to it than that. Gotta be a contradiction somewhere. I committed this fabrication completely alone. So you rearranged the crime scene. Are you sure you didn't do this to keep Emma from looking like the murderer? How many times do I have to tell you, Mr. Wright? Emma didn't do it, period. And are you so desperate to hide that fact? You're willing to risk the death sentence? She's lying. She did it so I wouldn't be blamed for what happened. In any case, as a prosecutor, what I've done is unpardonable. There's nothing I can do to make up for my actions. Mr. Wright, my sister's lying. Looks like she's determined to protect you to the end. She insists she fabricated the evidence by herself. There's no way she could have done it alone. Okay, so the contradiction is... the pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan. Is it because Emma's was written on the jar? Yeah, she said she planted the knife tip.
Objection!
Sky, I understand how you feel. You committed that crime 2 years ago to protect your sister. You mean the forgery at the scene where Neil Marshall was murdered? If that's the truth... If that truth were to be exposed now, the past 2 years of your life will have been in vain. Even so, I am compelled to bring everyone's attention to a significant contradiction within your testimony. Contradiction in my testimony? He testified, and I quote, "The pieces of the jar that shattered during the events threatened my plan." That's right. You have a problem with that? It's a simple oversight, really. You see, a message was written on the jar with the victim's blood. Yes, the prosecutor may have written it in his final moments. Exactly so. And this is where the contradiction lies. In order for the victim to be able to write this message on the jar... Oh, that means the jar has to be whole. That's why. You can't write on it if it's only pieces. I got it right without knowing it. It must not yet have been broken before he died. Oh. He couldn't have written Emma's name on a shattered jar. Order, order. Your Honor, it would appear more information is needed in regard to this jar and its bloody message. We may be missing something critical here. Something critical? Hey, prosecutor, it seems you're as in the dark as we are. About the truth towards which we are headed. What? Just tell us exactly what you saw. We'll piece together the information to arrive to the truth. The witness may continue her testimony. I immediately noticed the blood traces on the jar, but it was dark in the room, so I didn't have time to check it out. To be safe, I wiped away the blood. The fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. That's all I can think about. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. Why, though? Do you mean you were the one who wiped away the message in blood? I wasn't chief prosecutor at the time. She didn't think Dark was the real murderer. That's why she tried to erase the real evidence. Why? Well, that's where we're going to find out.
Hold it!
So the jar was already broken. Miracle that thing hadn't broken earlier. It certainly looks as feeble as the defense's case. Bro. What the hell, Judge? What the hell? Not as feeble as the judge's judgment. You were an ace detective who never missed a detail. Do you really expect us to believe you didn't investigate what was written on the jar pieces? Normally I would have. It was dark in the room. So you didn't know your sister's name was written on the jar? Well, if I had known, I would have gathered all the pieces and ground them to dust. Well, that helps my case. Why don't you do that for me? It seems you two might make up yet. Anyway, I had barely enough time to move the body. If someone happened upon the scene, you would lose your chance to erase the evidence. You must have been in a hurry. I was. I knew I had to destroy the evidence before anyone came. This is rather shocking. To be safe, I wiped away all the blood. Why? I'm afraid this action of yours reveals what really happened. What do you mean? If you really thought Dark killed Prosecutor Marshall, you wouldn't have wiped away the blood. What else could I have done in that situation? Lana. I only had a few moments. There wasn't enough time for me to do anything else but gather up the pieces. Fragments were large, so I'm sure I got them all. But how could you see with the power out? It should have been pitch black in the office. Detective's always prepared, Mr. Wright. Even now, I always carry a pocket light and a camera with me. Even I carry a bottle of emergency luminol wherever I go. Why? Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? I never miss anything. I got every last piece. All I could think about was wiping them clean before they were discovered. So you illegally rearranged the crime scene? Yes. I don't have any excuse for my actions. I'm so sorry, Lana. I didn't know. I've treated you so badly all this time. It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to make up. After we've gotten to the bottom of this incident. What do you carry with you at all times in case of emergency? I got nothing. I got a glass 4-leaf clover. That's all I have. More contradictions have surfaced in her testimony. Your sister really is putting up a fight. She must really care about you. Still, she's not doing this the right way. There's one final possibility that might turn everything around. Like, what do I even say here? Yeah. I mean, it's the vase again, I would say.
Objection!
No? How would you tamper with a witness in court? I'd probably play a shadow game with them and then destroy their mind. Mind crush, basically.
Objection!
It's the vase again, I just didn't... The sky, I believe this jar conceals a truth even you were unaware of. What? We found the final piece of this jar in Chief Gaunt's safe. In the chief's safe? But how? I knew it. She really didn't know. There's something even more disturbing about that final piece. There was... still blood on it. The witness just testified that she gathered every last piece and wiped the blood off them. Yes, which leaves us with only one explanation. On the night the prosecutor marshal was murdered, you were not the first one to show up on the scene. Chief Gaunt got there before you. See? See relics? See relics? The scene there? Hmm? The defendant is facing the judge. But couldn't the defendant have simply missed a piece? I'm afraid that's unlikely. The pieces are too big for anyone to miss, let alone an ace detective. That may well be, but everyone makes mistakes. Even I once wasted an entire day looking for my dentures. They were in my mouth all along. Can you believe that? Judge, please. Have you forgotten, Your Honor? When this witness arrived at the scene, the jar was already broken. Oh, that. There's no way a name could have been written on the shattered jar. Another person discovered the scene prior to the witness. I hope you're not implying that this person was Chief Gaunt. At the time, he was looking for Dark downstairs. Besides, the question is, if he did arrive there first, why did he hide the fact for 2 years? Well, Your Honor, can you answer that? No! Why is the judge crashing out? Wait, I'm not the one on trial here. Damon Gant arrived at the scene of the crime scene prior to the witness. He proceeded to break the jar and purposefully hid one of the broken pieces. Question: what is this action called? Fabrication of evidence. Why would Chief Gant do that? In light of what happened afterwards, isn't it clear what happens afterward? Discovering the scene, Lana Skye believed her sister killed the victim. Determined to help her sister, she sought Gant's aid. Lending her his aid, Gant helped her create evidence that incriminated Dark, sparing Emma, and there lies the reason why Miss Skye became the Chief's puppet. Oh, blood? No, I did it on my own. Please, sis, stop trying to protect the Chief. I can't watch you suffer anymore for my sake. No, you didn't. It wasn't you, Emma. You didn't kill anyone. Don't believe anything Mr. Wright says. The attorneys make up the most foul lies to defend their clients. Foul lies? Imagine that coming from my own client. Huh, I guess you do seem the type who likes to twist the truth. The truth? Wait a minute. What if we're still smack dab in the middle of Gant's trap? Is something wrong, Mr. Wright? Lana? Maybe you're right after all. What do you mean, right? So you do tell foul lies, then? Miss Skye, please testify once more. What? If evidence was fabricated behind your back, And Emma's accidental killing of Prosecutor Marshall might also be a lie. But I do remember knocking over Mr. Marshall. Miss Sky, if you will. I can't. There's nothing to be afraid of anymore. This cross-examination may not change a thing. However, there is a possibility that it will if you tell the truth. Very well. I'll testify about what I really saw. You know that's a crime to lie at the witness stand. Did the chief write Emma and not Marshall? Oh. When I arrived, I found Mr. Marshall's body impaled on that suit of armor. Emma and Dark were lying unconscious on the floor nearby. When I saw what happened, I thought she did it. That's why I erased all the evidence that linked her to the murder. I had Chief Gant help me remove the body from the sword and carry it. But if all of it was really a fabrication, Emma might be innocent. The body was impaled on the sword's armor? If you were the only one who saw that, if you only had proof... If only you had proof, actually. I do have proof. I gave it to Mr. Wright just this morning. But to me, it's a picture I took of the crime scene as I encountered it. I thought it might be needed. I don't remember receiving a picture like that. Lana must have known. See, Mr. Wright, she really does have faith in you. Very well, Mr. Wright. Please present this picture. I don't remember receiving any pictures from Lana. I gave it to you this morning. Check the evidence. There might be a picture somewhere. In the evidence law? Yeah, there's a picture here. Oh my. This is the actual crime scene. No other detective saw the crime scene like this. Because I contacted Criminal Affairs only after I had rearranged everything. Mr. Wright, that piece cut out from his vest, could that be... the cloth we found inside Chief Gant's face? What's this? It's a handprint, isn't it? The cloth, it had fingerprints on it. Well, whosever's fingerprints those are must be the real murderer. What? But those fingerprints, they're yours, Emma? Why are your lips turning purple, Mr. Wright? Anyway, let's get on with the cross-examination. As long as you tell the truth, we should be able to flush out the real murderer. The defense may now begin its cross-examination. When I arrived, hold it. Wait, what are you doing here? Come on now, Udgy. This is the poorest excuse for a trial I've ever seen. Chief Gant. What, now you want to make me out as the bad guy too? If so, I'd like to put in a word or two in my defense. I'm afraid it's too late for that. What? You already declined to testify. That means you forfeited your right to make statements of any sort. This must be that risk we were talking about earlier. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the sound of the noose tightening around your own neck. So what? You think I'm worried? Sorry to disappoint you, but I don't need to make any statements. What do you mean? The evidence will do all the talking for me. Even if I can't testify, I can still present evidence. Yes, that's true. Wait, you mean you still have some conclusive evidence? No, I don't. But someone does. Someone? So what's your excuse, righto? Why have you been keeping quiet about it? You do have something to show us, right? Something that proves who knocked over Neil Marshall, causing his death? Conclusive evidence that leaves no room for doubt? Is that true, Mr. Wright? I show that piece of evidence now. Emma's sure to be made out as the murderer. Mr. Wright, if you have more evidence, present it now, and if you try to conceal anything, you'll be the one appearing before the Board of Inquiries. What do I do now? I better think this through carefully. I can't afford to make the wrong decision. Should I present that evidence? We can't show the evidence because we have the book that says we can't show the evidence. Your Honor? I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. What? You lie, Chief Gant. You opened my safe. I know what you took what was inside. The conclusive evidence. I don't know what you're talking about. Mr. Wright, why don't you show them? We found it together. Oh, I see, because you know the truth, don't you? You know whose fingerprints are on it. That's why you won't present it. What are you talking about, Chief Gant? Can't you figure it out? Take a good look at this picture. See the victim's vest? Notice anything odd about the chest area? Looks like part of it's been cut out for some reason. You mean you had this in your safe? What? That means you, the chief of police, have been concealing evidence? This is going to be the biggest scandal in the history of the police department. Impressive. To be honest, I didn't think you had the gall, righto. Well, I can't just let you pin me up as the murderer. I'll tell you what really happened. What? You mean you admit to it? I thought he declined his... Okay. I was the first person to arrive at the crime scene that day. It occurred to me that I could use the situation to control Lana. So you really were manipulating her. I knew Lana. If I made it look like the blame laid with her sister, that when she saw the scene, she would ask for my aid. So you assisted Miss Sky. I told her to arrange all the evidence. I had her plant the knife's tip in the victim's body and move the body across the room. And I ended up using that evidence to get Joe Dark convicted. When I tampered with the crime scene, I hid 2 pieces of evidence. This was before Lana arrived at the scene, mind you. 2 pieces of evidence? You mean those items in your safe? But why? For insurance, of course. Insurance. I was sure my plan would work, but it's always best to be prepared for the worst. I wasn't about to let anyone blame me for a murder that girl committed. I mean, you were calculating that far ahead while forging the evidence. What do you take me for, a fool? I didn't make police chief by dumb luck. See this jar fragment? I hid the most legible part of Emma's name. I didn't expect Lana to go and wipe the blood away from all the pieces. But if you fabricated all the evidence, what's to say you didn't fabricate the message on the jar too? Oh, ho, ho. Some people just don't know when to quit, do they? That's why I kept one more item for insurance. You mean that piece of cloth? Come on, Rhino. Cough it up already. I know you have it. What are you waiting for, Mr. Wright? So you admit to it, Chief Gant, that you were hiding the cloth that you cut off the victim's vest in your safe. Yes, I admit it. I didn't want to have to do that, being chief and all, but it's a lot better than being portrayed as a murderer. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you have to say for yourself? Just a moment ago, you said you didn't have evidence you could present. Foolish move, Rhino. He could have shown it before it was too late. It's been a long battle. But the moment of truth has finally arrived. As long as I don't mess up here, the victory's mine. Can't show evidence. It's the book. The book is going to save us. Can't show the evidence. It would expose the poor girl's fingerprints, right? Think hard over the circumstances. Circumstances? I'm talking about then and now. There's one major difference between the two. Weren't you waiting for that difference? So, okay. Yeah, thou must. Well, I mean, that's the only other option. They present the piece of cloth? Oh, he admitted. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece on the victim's vest. Oh, yes. Alas, you brought it out in the open. There's a handprint on the piece of the cloth. Your Honor, the prosecution requests that it be immediately sent to the lab for analysis. The handprint on the leather. There must have been a strong impact for it to be left so clearly. You mean it could not have been forged? It must be authentic, conclusive evidence. Oh ho ho, you're slow on the uptake as ever, Worthy. What? Think about it. Righto had this evidence to present this, had the time to present this evidence. He was reluctant to do so. Why would that be? You mean you already know? You know whose fingerprints are on that? Mr. Wright, do you really know? Whoever the fingerprints belong to must be the real murderer. Whose fingerprints are they? Very well. I'll tell you. Should be okay now. Everything's proceeding as predicted.
Take that!
Emma Sky? What? They're mine? I'm sorry, Emma. But why? Why didn't you tell me? Oh ho ho. You're really something, Righto. You knew this girl did it all along, and you still tried to pin the murder on me. So it's true. Tragic, but true. This girl really did shove Prosecutor Marshall to his death. How could you? You monster! The Sky. You knew whose fingerprints you knew whose fingerprints those were all along, yet you acted like she really didn't. Sky. It's not over yet. What? I said this trial isn't over yet. Ha! But I'm afraid it is over, boy. Not only this trial, but your career, too. You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. Not my badge. I won't be able to present it. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Aren't you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? You can't. You're absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. Who killed Neil Marshall, you asked? It was Emma Sky, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? A contradiction? What's this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction, one that proves who the real killer is. It might be on the inside. This piece of cloth, what could it possibly contradict? Chief Gat, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, the piece of evidence that contradicts this cloth. Probably the picture. Right? And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture Miss Sky took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes. His shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make out with all the blood on his vest, though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood, and that's only natural. His lungs were no doubt punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth. Wait. There's no blood on it. Ah! Since Emma Sky's fingerprints are on this cloth, and no doubt she shoved the prosecutor aside. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on this sword at that time. No. This is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gant, let me tell you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me. Who could have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Miss Lana Sky, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor's sword? And to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, that person proceeded to write her name on the jar in the victim's blood. A jar that they then broke on purpose to leave behind a clue. And to make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted only moments ago? That you personally cut out this bloodless piece of the victim's vest? Ironic, isn't it? Through the very act of creating insurance, you prove that you were actually the murderer. No! It's finally all over. Oh, that was close, Rido. You almost had me. Sorry, but you'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations? What do you mean you refute your allegations? You see that piece of cloth? Is illegal evidence. Order! What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict the suspect. Remember, Udgy, earlier, old Rido concealed that piece of cloth. You do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth ceased to be legal evidence. That's not fair. Ooh, did you actually think you could best me in court? Looks like the last laugh's on you, son. Actually, rule number 2 of evidence law. I'm afraid Mr. Gant's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, true. Legal evidence cannot be used to convict a person, assuming, of course, that evidence is indeed illegal. Mr. Wright? It seems at last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposefully and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? No, not illegally. I admit I refused to present it at one point. Aha! So the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present it. It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Udgy, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't really believe. There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well. Let's settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present your evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so. Do so now, the badge.
Take that!
This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? Using the law against me? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Sky's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book. The second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe. It goes without saying I did not have the approval of the police department. Rule number 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time, it was impossible for me to prove the irrelevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take one look at the picture and... Sorry, but can you recall when that picture was presented? It was shown only a few moments ago. No, he's right. At the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. On the day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest? Oh, yes? No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there's only one person who that could be. Damon Gant? The killer was you! No. I knew I should have gotten rid of him. A good-for-nothing scum. 2 years he's been snooping around the department trying to get something on me. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly petty. You wanted to reinvestigate the case? You recruited Angel Starr and then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman. Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find the truth. Please, you gotta help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to file a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden, he decided to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There's too many questions left unanswered. He opened his evidence locker, and as he was taking the evidence out, he said, "It's not too late. I'm gonna hand this over to Marshall." Well, to be honest, I was a bit taken aback by his words. I had a bad feeling when he came to see me, but I never thought he'd bring up SL9. That's when I saw it, that accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. Doing so would have only led to more blood, making it near impossible to hide your crime. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I hurried to wipe it up. I was worrying so much about the floor that I didn't realize my fatal mistake. The bloody handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker. I used to be known as the crime computer, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. I had no business doing any of it. And then you put the body in my car. I'm sorry. I couldn't think of any other way to move the body. I broke your trunk? What's your big deal? You make a lot more than us detectives ever will. Leaving the prosecution's car aside, how? How could you get Miss Sky involved in all of this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did if the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker. I felt bad for having to do it. Oh, I also didn't have time to pick and choose what to take. So, you left the jar fragments in the glove. Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a committer. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon close examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, why do you stand in court? Hey, you despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go... you try to go to it alone. We're not so different, you and I. Looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, and Udgy. What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that lunch date. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Damon Kent. I knew you as you used to be long ago. You were once a fine investigator and an example to others on the force. I'm sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Udgy. Thanks for all the memories, though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now that you have Righto here, and Worthy, with these two around, you can't go wrong. In fact, I can hear him already. The melodious sounds of a new beginning. There's two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, Damon Gant betrayed you from the very beginning. You see, Miss Sky? You no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done these past 2 years. From the time I had Gant help me forge evidence up until now. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. I'm sorry, Miss Sky, I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards do you have for a rookie? I can see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows? A few years from now, you might make it to the top. Smile! I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Sky. And to you, Mr. Edgeworth. You suffered every bit as much as I'd have over the past few days, believe me. I know how much of an ordeal it's been for you. It was nothing. Liar. I was worried the pressure might break you, and yet you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edgeworth. Stop it, I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good self-examining is in order for all of us. Miss Sky, yes, Your Honor, you are innocent of murder. However, although the chief blackmailed you, the fact is you still acted as his accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for these crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of these heavy chains. Will you visit Lana in prison? No. Well, this trial has gone on for far too long already. Yeah, you think? Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky, not guilty. Hey. That's all. Court is adjourned. Yeah, murder was the case, but she did not murder. At long last, it's finally over. Emma? Why the long face? Are you a horse? I'm sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended, I can see why Mia Faith thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks. And to you, Mr. Edgeworth. Suffered every... Yeah, we already know this. You've done well. It's the first time my sister smiled in 2 years. You know, I did my best too. Emma got nothing. No praise for the little sister. But Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty? And to top it off, you called me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. You said that already. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Big sister? Lana? Would you be doing this? You're still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell if you won't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis. Don't worry about it. That day 2 years ago was the first time in my life I ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think about was keeping you from getting wrapped up in this mess. This. I asked Gant to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realized I was wrong. I changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. He became a Gundam villain. A villain, yeah. I was scared that you would look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you would react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. I was doing it for me. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis. I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize it. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you would come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma. Aw, look at that. Big hug. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we can find the way back to our rightful path. It is from there that we can move on towards a brighter future. At least that's what I felt watching those two sisters make up. Mr. Wright and Mr. Gumshoe? Me? Thank you both for all you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Where was he hiding? I just came to say. Is he gonna do his stupid face again? Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right, well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what anyone may say. I realize today that I can't correct my mistakes. Mr. Edgeworth. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gant was right. You despise criminals, I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. Oh, believe me, you will. You're just one man. You'll see what it really takes to bring them down once you try to go it alone. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life fighting them, but in order to fight crime on my own, I needed a weapon. It's scary, but I've known that to be true for quite some time now. Edgeworth. Who knows, given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gant did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Damon Gant and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. They both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime on my own, I'd need a weapon. That may be true, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. The power of friendship? You were working together with Mr. Wright, and because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is this, a pop quiz? Come on, Mr. Wright, show him what Lana's talking about. Evidence, huh? Something that neither Edgeworth nor I would be able to find on our own. The badge! What was it? Is it the evidence list? I don't know, actually.
Take that!
That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list, and I had the other. Art, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Mr. Edgeworth. Time for me to go. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there's still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, you can let whatever happen. You can let what happened kill the prosecutor in you, or you can let it help you grow. In the end, it's up to you. I know. Oh, he's doing the face! I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, right? But what I face now is my problem, Edgeworth. I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. I better get going too. Okay, but I'll be by to visit soon. Seems we both have a lot to learn and catching up to do. Here's a little something for you. Scientific investigation. It's the first book I ever bought. Study it well. Thanks, sis. I will. Can we replace all emotes with a variety of Edgeworth faces? I mean, we could, but no, we have to have like hips and midriff as emotes. And so another case came to a close. As for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. You can delete those, I wish. There's so many emotes I delete. I think it's time I started on a new journey of my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Well, don't go trekking off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just a little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see, she isn't supposed to be out of jail like this, but I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, haha. You see, Mr. Right here is the one who will be footing the bill. Huh? Huh? What, you think I could afford that with my salary? You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? 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 Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Who's paying me? Why is it? I suddenly feel like I want to scream. Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we all go pay it off together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go pay off a bribe together. Do we want to lose our license?
Objection!
I arranged for a friend of mine to take care of her. I hope she'll be pleased. As for me, this affair has pretty much ended my days at the prosecutor's office. Still, I'll manage to find my way back on the field somehow. Then I'll be able to investigate crimes together with Emma. Oh, that would be nice. Sisters working together, investigate crimes. That could be a novel right there. Yikes, I thought I was a goner for a moment there. In the end, they overlooked my unauthorized investigation of the chief's office. If we penalize you anymore, it would be worse than firing you. That's what they said. Just goes to show, you can't shake me out that easy. Man, this went on a lot longer than I thought. I thought we would be done in 40 minutes. It took us 2 hours and 40 minutes. My new mission is to guard the main entrance and take care of Billy. Can you believe it? I've been demoted to security guard. My partner has been keeping an eye on the entrance for me. I'll show them though. Someday I'll make detective. You okay, buddy? You had that bandage on for like 6 years. Were they setting up Emma to be the next protag in the series? I think she's in another series in the Ace Attorney lore. Lucky doing animation. Looks like that. What is it? Can't you see I'm having me a showdown with a steak lunch partner? Ishtar managed to sneak this in for me. You seeing the guards? Well, cowboy, it looks like you did it. You even gave Bambina back her smile. Can you make sure Billy and the gang get their water? Well, he stabbed he stole evidence. Why is Marshall in the prison? He stole evidence. He stabbed another guard in the hand. Knocked him out. I think that's grounds for getting arrested. That's true, but, you know, laws in Japan are quite different. I mean, America, Japan. I'll never forget what that young defense lawyer said after the trial. Let's see, what was his name again? Mr. Left? Anyway, he said he's been doing something or another for how many years? Well, anyway, I've got another trial to get to, so I better be... Oh no, I forgot my gavel. Sorry, I gotta go. Oh, Judge, you're so crazy. When are we getting a Mr. Left emote? How would that even work? Oh, it's Maya. Nothing soothes the soul like fresh country air. Still, sometimes I do miss hearing you and your objections. Still, I can't go back until I'm a full-fledged spirit medium. Mystic Maya, afternoon training's about to begin. Coming. Well, see you around, Nick. Remember Maya? No. Remember Maya Balls? Game 2 when? Don't know. But what I do know is we're not going to be continuing the series just yet. We will have other things to partake prior to that. Why is there so much cocaine in the credits? Because it's Friday. Cocaine Friday. Thanks for coming to see me off. I can't believe I'm going to Europe. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thank you so much for everything. I mean, you're going to Europe. I wouldn't thank you. Thank me. I'm a little sad, but whenever I want to see Lana, all I have to do is open the book. Oh, what's in the book? Mysterious letter? Aw, look at that. Little sisters. Achievement! A cute girl and a criminal. It's true. Alright, so that was Ace Attorney. We're gonna take a small medium break, and we'll continue with the Clear Obscure after the break, so stay tuned.